Well, hey, friends, it's Kristen, and this is your Monday Growth Moment, a short reflection about doing the hard things that help us grow. Let's get into it. Today's moment is about mentally pacing yourself to get through something hard. Now, I do want to say that I am recording this on a Monday, okay? Let's hope I can edit it and release it on Monday, but I'm doing better than like the past month of I'm recording it on a Monday, not skipping a week. So there we go. Okay. Well, this past week's run sucked. This is not the training cycle I thought I was going to have. It's disappointing that it has to be humorous. That ear infection took me out for most of the week. I was able to get in one short, just very short recovery run. And then I was supposed to run 16 miles as part of my taper. I tapped out at 13. It's just wild how marathon training just gaslights you because I say just 13 miles. And I had to remind myself, Kristen, that's a half marathon. You ran a half marathon. You've been running a lot of half marathons lately. So, it's all in how you phrase it. But that was hard. I could tell that I was getting worn out and I just didn't want to push it because my goal is finishing this race, right? So this week coming up, I have 10 miles. That'll be nice. And then, oh my gosh, I just have one more long run and then it's the marathon. So I've already started panic buying things because I'm so anxious about the weather. My first marathon, I had trained when it was super frigidly cold and then it was so ridiculously hot. That's easier to plan for because you can wear less. This, I'm nervous about the cold. I don't like being cold. My lower body doesn't warm up well in the cold. So got all kinds of stuff coming. I'm just starting to get nervous about it, starting to get excited that pretty soon what my genetics and DNA have been training for centuries is coming up. The carb loading. I'm so excited to carb load. Such a fantastic time. But have that coming up. So thought I would hop on here and talk about a skill that I have developed that I'm pretty proud of and I think helps me get through a lot of these really hard, really long runs, which is how do I mentally pace myself for a marathon, right? Which I think translates so beautifully to anything hard that we're doing is you have to pace yourself and you have to have the right focus. And I have figured out the strategy for any of my longer distances, for the first half, until I get to the halfway point, I don't think about how many miles are left. That'll just get overwhelming. So in the marathon, my watch beeps and says 1 mile. I don't automatically think, okay, 25.2 left. Ugh, that's horribly depressing. I have very small, specific things that I focus on during that first half of the distance. Obviously, I'm aware of technically how much mileage is left, but I don't think about it consciously that much. I'm just trying to look at my watch just to check my pace really quick, but I'm trying not to watch the mileage. And at this point, on that first half, I'm just trying to kind of zone out a little bit, enjoying the music and such. But I am just looking for my first little benchmarks of progress, which for me are every 3 miles are when I have to take in some fuel. So especially like endurance running, you have to take in nutrition. You have to take in carbs and sugar and all of that because your body is burning it so that you can keep going. And so that first half of my long distance, I'm just thinking of 3 mile increments. How am I doing here? How's the 1 mile feeling? How's the 2? I'll kind of notice, okay, how am I doing? Because I might move that a little bit. I don't usually wait longer, but sometimes I will scoot it up. I'll take a gel earlier if I feel like, hey, this is getting a little harder. And I just go at 3 mile increments. So I take it at the first one. And usually, that one has caffeine in it. So I'm always excited to get an extra boost of caffeine. And I just go at those 3 mile increments. Now I know that typically mile 7 gets hard for me. I just tend to hit a wall, and like mile 7 to mile 9, not so much in the pain cave, but I'm in the mental pain cave. It's just a hard one for me. And then usually when I hit around mile 10, I seem to feel a little bit better. So I know that I'm going to save a gel that I really like for mile 6. And I might have an extra snack, right? But I just know that, okay, that's coming up. This is going to be hard. Let's get through it. And so I just very slowly go through those 3-mile increments. Now, once I get to the halfway point, so for like the marathon coming up, when I get to 13 miles, one, you just kind of have to deal with it because everybody's yelling halfway. So that's when we acknowledge it. But that's when I try to look back and think, oh my gosh, I've already done 13 miles, right? I'm already halfway done. That is awesome. How am I doing with my pacing? How is this feeling? Especially with all these hills that apparently Tulsa has. I'm pretty nervous about the hills. I'm just going to be gauging, okay, how's this going? And what do I need to do? And I'm still going to be trying to focus on just that in the process mental coaching and still going by my 3-mile increments. So that's when I will kind of start, okay, this is how much is left. You've accomplished this. And then, breaking it down into when you hit 20, that is certainly a hard wall. But you know that I have a 10K left. I have 6.2 miles left, and I've done a ton of these. And this will be part of my mental coaching, is that when things start to get really hard and the miles are really adding up and I'm very tired and my feet hurt and all of these things, I have to remind myself what I've already accomplished. I'm not thinking about, well, I haven't finished the marathon yet. Yeah, but I've already run 3 miles. I've already run 6 miles. I've already run a half marathon. I've already run 18 miles, right? I've knocked this out of the park. And that's when I will start thinking, Kristen, you've already run this many miles so many times already, right? I've run, a ridiculous amount of 10Ks at this point. I've run a ridiculous amount of 10-mile runs at this point. I focus on that. I focus on what I've accomplished to help motivate me to keep going. I don't just focus on how much is left or the hard parts that are coming up, because that can be overwhelming and that's depressing. It's not motivating, and we all need that motivation. So then I get down to, all right, I've got my last 10K left. I've got 6.2 miles, right? And then that last one, which feels so long, that last 5K of 3.1 miles. But focusing on that. And then at that point, I'm already at the end, and I try to continue to be in awe of everything that I've accomplished. And when I continue to focus on everything that I've accomplished, it motivates me to keep going. And this is often what I help clients do in therapy when people are trying to do hard things. When, working through people's trauma with EMDR, sometimes it feels like a 100-mile race of like, oh my gosh, we are in the thick of this and there is so much, and they feel overwhelmed with how much they still have to go through, right? They still know all of the memories and experiences that need to come. And I get that. And we should be mindful of what is, still ahead. But let's look at where we've been. Let's look at what we've accomplished. Let's look at the things that have already changed for you. Let's look at the things that are now easier, right? Let's look at all of that and look at what you've accomplished. And then let's look at the very next goal that we have. And we just take it one step at a time. And I know that can get annoying to hear, but that's literally how you finish a marathon, is 1 mile at a time, one step at a time. Can't do it any other way. So breaking it down into small, manageable chunks, and then continuing to remind yourself of all that you've accomplished will make working through the really hard things a lot easier. You can certainly focus on things that make it harder to get through, or you can focus on the things that help make it easier. So there you go. I hope that helps. If you have something really hard, whether it's an actual endurance race or a mental endurance race that you are dealing with, find the small goals, find the small victories, and keep track of what you've accomplished so that you can look at it. It is really, really rewarding to look at my watch and see that there are already 16 miles done. And I can think, I've already done 16. So keep track of the changes that you've made, of the things that used to be hard that are now easy. It doesn't matter how small. Just keep track of them because they'll help motivate you. So whatever your hard thing is this week, and whenever life gets hard and you just have to keep on trucking, remember, break it down into small pieces, focus on the wins, and remember, you're not doing it alone. I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you next week.